To understand how to actually remove bad habits, you need to understand the concept of delayed gratification. And let me give you a metaphor for this. Let me give you a bit of a story. Have you ever been in really cold water? When you get in, it's all cold and everything, obviously, but you wait a few minutes, it warms up, and your body eventually warms up to it, and then it feels normal. And that's the same thing with delayed gratification. When you start delaying the gratification, when you don't do the thing you want, which your brain wants you to do, it feels bad. But eventually, as you just put it off, over time will actually benefit you. That's the whole point with removing habits which you don't want to do. And there's another thing David Goggins actually talks about in his book, which I recommend to read, by the way. But anyway, you've probably heard of him before anyway, because it was on YouTube and everything. But basically, he says suffering is temporary, and there's always an end to suffering. And you just need to remind yourself of this every time you're going through the time where you're resisting to do the habit. Let's say you're resisting going on your phone. The bad habit is you spend too much time on your phone. Let's say just remind yourself when you're not going on your phone, when you feel resistance to this, just remind yourself suffering is temporary. This will pass. You'll get through this and you'll see the benefits of this eventually. And another really good tip, which I've actually read before, is about ask yourself questions in your head about this, basically. And what I mean is ask yourself questions like, are you going to be weak today? Are you going to give in today? Ask yourself questions. It makes your brain actually think about doing this habit right now. If you're actually going to give in today, are you actually going to be weak today? Ask yourself these questions. Just ask them the next time where you try and resist your bad habit. And you also need to change your environment. And basically, really simply, that means, let's say you're working on something important and your phone's in the same room as you and you keep then getting distracted. You keep looking at your phone when you're supposed to be working on this. Just put your phone outside the room. And I know this sounds really simple, and it normally is really simple for most people. You just put this outside the room and you just literally take it away and you just set up the environment where it's perfect for you to actually do your goal and stop getting distracted by things like phones, whatever. And another really important part of this is, I actually heard a story once about how someone quit smoking because instead of the cigarettes, because they always used to smoke in the car, or they always used to get the cigarettes in the car. So instead of putting the cigarettes there in the car one day, they switched it to something else, to sweets or something like that. And then so when the day came where they went to it, they just ate the sweets instead of smoking. It's one of those simple things about changing your environment. You normally do the same habit in the same place. But if you change this environment, change it, you can also apply this to phones. Instead of, you might use your phone in the same room every time where you could like doom scroll or whatever. Just replace that with a book or something. Just put a book there instead of your phone. It's the same thing with changing your environment basically. And just remember this. Another really important thing is also changing your identity around this habit. And I keep using the phone example because it's just really relatable, I guess, for most people nowadays. But don't say that you're the person, don't say that you're going to stop using your phone. Say you don't use your phone. It's like the same thing with like diets and stuff. Don't say you're on a diet. Say you just don't eat that type of food. You know, it's changing your identity around it in your mind, who you are around it. It's like when people go to the gym, change your mindset that you are an athlete and you go to the gym. I know this all sounds like, you know, it doesn't work and everything, but it's scientifically proven. If you change your identity around things like this, it can actually really improve the results and really improve, because your mind will think as you go through this, you know? So just change your identity around this basically. And just say, you're not the guy who stops going on his phone. You're the guy who's already stopped going on his phone, you know? You've already done it. Change your mentality around it. And the last thing I'll talk about is just the mindset. You won't do it today. Just remind yourself, if you feel the urge to do the habit, just say to yourself in your head, you're not going to do it today. Because it's a lot easier for your brain to think about it this way. It's a lot easier to say you won't do it today rather than you won't do it tomorrow or next week or next month or next year or forever. It's a lot easier to say you won't do it today. And you can keep doing this every day and keep, I don't know if it's like tricking your mind or whatever, but if you just say you won't do it today, it's just a lot easier for your mind to process basically. So next time you feel the urge to do the habit which you really don't want to, which you're really building on to stop doing, you won't do it today. Just remind yourself that. And one more thing I want to add is all about the compound effect. So it's not going to feel like you made that much progress if you stop doing the habit today, if you stop doing the bad habit, if you stop going on your phone today, you're not going to feel that much of an effect. But if you keep doing it over time, if you keep doing it every day, every week, every month, if you keep doing it for months, for years, you'll eventually see, it depends on the size of the habit, of course. You'll eventually see the growth, you'll eventually see, let's say it's the phone thing, you'll see so much more time you get just because you stop scrolling on your phone, that kind of thing, you know. So don't be too hard on yourself if you don't see progress today or this week, or even this month. Don't be too hard on yourself because it takes time. And I know that's not the answer you want to hear right now, that takes time, because it's not the most appealing answer ever, but it does take time. So just remember compound effect. Every time which you feel like you're not making any progress, remember the compound effect. But yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you actually learned something from this and subscribe for more videos like this, basically. So yeah, thank you for watching.